I arrived at my son-in-law's home for dinner. Comfort, wine, and a sense of peace after our recent arguments. It felt like things might finally return to normal. But a call from the gardener shattered that fragile illusion. Someone is moving around your house right now. As I rose to leave, my son-in-law seized my arm with a grip that was too firm, too insistent. Before we go any further, please subscribe to the channel and drop a comment about what time it is in your corner of the world. My fingers clenched the steering wheel until they ached. The text message lit up on my phone, propped against the dashboard. Dad, arrive at 7 p.m. No sooner. 20 minutes had ticked by since Ethan sent it. 20 minutes of me idling 2 blocks from his place, engine humming, puzzling over those 4 stark words. The last time I'd seen my son was 3 weeks back. He'd shown up at my office with charts and forecasts, pressing for a $200,000 loan. Not requesting, insisting. When I turned him down, he branded me selfish. Sophia lingered in the doorway behind him, arms folded, nodding like a silent echo of disapproval. The door's slam still rang in my ears, louder in memory than it had been. Now this an invitation with a pinpoint time. I killed the engine and glanced at my watch. 6:57. Near enough. I snatched the wine bottle from the passenger seat, a Napa Cabernet I'd agonized over for 25 minutes at the shop, weighing if reconciliation merited $50 or $70. I'd gone with $70. Peace gestures ought to carry weight. The stroll to Ethan's front door dragged on longer than it should have. Suburban Denver stretched out around me, with its trimmed yards and 2-car driveways. My son had carved out success, at least on the surface. The house was a sleek craftsman style, sharp angles and lavish grounds. I'd chipped in for the down payment 6 years ago. That seemed like another era entirely. I lifted my hand to knock. The door swung open just before my fist met the wood. Come in. Sophia's smile pulled too broad, revealing too many teeth. She drew me into an embrace that lingered 4 seconds past comfort. My first warning chime, soft but steady. We're thrilled you made it. I wouldn't dream of skipping. I passed her the wine, scanning her features. She'd always been tough to decipher. But tonight, her affection rang scripted. Ethan stepped up behind her, palm outstretched. Dad, great to see you. His clasp pressed a subtle message. He guided me through the entryway, by familiar family snapshots I'd eyed countless times, into the dining area. Hope you're starving. Sophia's been in the kitchen since dawn. The dining room halted me in my tracks. Candles danced on a table draped with linen napkins origami folded into neat shapes. My go-to meals, braised beef, charred veggies, warm bread crowded every inch. The setup screamed curated perfection, like a model home peddling a dream over a dwelling. This is some feast. I drew back a seat, the legs rasping over oak floors. A milestone night. Sophia uncorked the bottle with fluid expertise. Family doesn't require excuses. We simply yearned for your company. It's dragged on too much. 3 weeks. Precisely 3. Yet I dipped my head and took the glass she offered, noting her motion's rehearsed grace. Ethan settled opposite, his vibe overly vibrant, overly keen. They were acting out a scene, and I alone lacked lines. So, Dad. Ethan slid the bread my way, his ease feigning natural flow. How's the property scene holding up for you? Still clinging to that Rocky Mountain parcel. That Rocky Mountain parcel, the 50 acres I'd snagged 4 years prior as a nest egg. Why zero in on the deals are solid? I split a roll, vapor curling from its fluffy core. Why bring it up pure interest? Just chatting. The reply snapped out too swift. Like a drilled response, I eyed Sophia, who fussed with a flame needing no tweak. She caught my gaze and beamed. That overextended beam once more. We're overjoyed you joined us tonight. She topped off my glass unbidden. Family ought not clash over cash. Agreed. The term lingered like haze. Cash, the rift from 3 weeks past, now waved off as petty. I laid my fork aside, calibrating my words with care. I've always put kin above all, yet that doesn't license ditching standards. Ethan's jaw flexed a hair, a blink span, but I'd honed 35 years scanning expressions over deal tables. I recognized the strain of concealed hands. Quiet draped the table, pierced only by cutlery's scrape and the faint whir of central air. Sophia cleared her throat. Another pour. She decanted before my nod. Her fingers quivered faintly, rippling the crimson pour. One more off-key in their polished orchestra. I dined on, for balking would spotlight suspicion over compliance. The beef was superb. Sophia had long excelled at the stove, though flavors evaded me. My thoughts tallied their sidelong looks when they figured me unseeing. Every query posing as banter, but probing like cross-examination. Every tick Ethan stole at his wristwatch, mounting in rhythm. Something brewed here, deeper than mending fences. I longed to trust in true amends. I yearned to view my son's summons as a bridge over our fracture. But decades dissecting motives, spotting guile in micro-movements, had sharpened me. This reeked of choreography, of staging, of countdown. My phone thrummed in my pocket. The buzz was faint. Yet Ethan's stare locked on it like a hawk on quarry. Color fled his cheeks. Sophia's goblet halted en route to her mouth. I fished out the device with measured calm, masking my quickening beat. As their dread thickened the air, the room shrank, candle glow turning stifling. My palm wrapped the pulsing phone, and in that beat, certainty iced my veins. This held no reconciliation at its core. My palm seized the buzzing phone. Ethan's gaze fixed on the motion with raw alarm. Sophia's glass hung suspended. Mid-arc frozen, the space closed in tight. I withdrew it deliberately. Face schooled blank amid my surging pulse. The display bore 2 messages from Harry. My groundskeeper, first Mr. Radcliffe. You at home second chilled my blood to frost. I detect noises from your place. Spotlight in your den. Alert the cops. I scanned both twice, thrice, etching their truth. Intruders prowled my home this instant in my den. Vault of files, ledgers, the wall safe cradling $30,000 cash and my mother's heirlooms. The seat grated as I surged up. The noise boomed in the hush. I must go immediately. Ethan vaulted the table ere 2 strides. His fingers vice-gripped my forearm. Nails biting sinew. Hold on. Dad. Pause. Just grant 5 minutes. Let me clarify. I fixed on his hold. On the blanching skin where circulation stalled. On my boy barring my path as thieves plundered my domain. Clarify what? Precisely, my tone emerged even, leached of tone. Why pin me here at exact 7? Why Sophia's fixation on my rocky mountain holding his visage betrayed it all the unwelcome proof I'd sidestepped till now. The evening's veneer cracked wide. Yielding to cornered frenzy, Sophia edged to seal the exit. The warm host evaporated, bearing icy scheming in modest garb. Quentin, if you sit and heed, we can sort this. Move aside now. I deployed my boardroom timbre for soured pacts. where courtesy yielded to command. 35 years of command packed into twin beats. Sophia's eyes flared. Yet she held ground. Ethan's clutch intensified. You can't grasp the squeeze we're in the liabilities, the prospects. You hoard fortunes, while we sink. You required fleecing your father. I keyed one-handed, thumb flying the glass. Summoned police at once, heading back. Harry's reply flashed instant. On it already. Dad, I beg you. Ethan's plea splintered near sob. Had you loaned the funds on request? This mess evaporates. You perch on millions in holdings and stakes as we flail. What father? I twisted free with sharper yank than meant. His digits etched crimson welts destined to purple by dawn. Shattering his hold mirrored a vaster tear between us. What son plots to fleece his dad under reconciliation's guise? I shouldered past Sophia, firm but not fierce, forcing her yield or collision. She yielded. Ethan trailed to the hall, words tumbling, excuses weaving. The crew we tapped is expert, knows the craft cold, no harm done. We'd square it via venture gains. You'd never note if your keeper hadn't. I halted at the entry, palm on latch, pivoting once more. I grasp it fully, and I grasp your hand in it. The quiet that bloomed brimmed not void, but confession. Betrayal's heft laid bare. No protests. Merely Ethan's ashen mask and Sophia's gauging glare, both fathoming the scheme's total ruin. If you press charges, Sophia launched. Tone honed keen now. Facade shed. I already did. I strode out. Portal agape in my wake. Night's chill slapped my skin, scouring the contrived hearth's glow. My auto crouched at the curb, locked by a prior self an hour gone. That man had borne wine and optimism. 28 minutes to mine if I pressed the pedal. I tallied it instinctive. Etched from 35 years threading these lanes, the phone rode shotgun. Harry's alerts still flared. I peeled from the edge. Ethan's abode dwindling in the mirror. Porch lamp framed twin silhouettes in the frame. None beckoned. My knuckles blanched anew on the wheel. Yet this sting sharpened, not fretted. Fragments aligned with grim exactness. The timed pull, the asset probes, the amends charade veiling rot. They'd elected this staged the night, cloaked larceny and kinship. Wagered I'd prove gullible or hopeful or starved for a chord to miss their play. They'd misjudged. The road unspooled. 28 minutes of shadowed interstate and sprawl. But my head raced ahead, inventorying aftermath reports, claims, proofs, logs, suits. This transcended fury now. Rage flares brief, evanescent. What hardened in that hall was icier, enduring. They'd breached an irrevocable threshold. Gambled I'd soften to reprisal's edge. They misread me deeper than assumed. The device hummed anew. Harry cops on sight. Nabbed the intruder inside. Awaiting you, I parsed it double, then rested it aside. Brake lamps smeared by. The gauge edged higher. Wrist pulsed where Ethan had clamped. 25 minutes out. 24. 23. They'd chosen. Now my turn. Crimson and azure strobes bathed my home in stark judgment. Twin squad cars bulked the drive, flashes rendering all harsh, dreamlike. I slotted behind, silencing the motor but lingering. Palms fused to the rim. Harry paced the front yard, cell gripped like a ward. Relief washed his face at my sight. The entry gaped, not splintered or pried, just ajar, as if the visitor had sauntered post-task. That breezy desecration stung worse than brute breach. Mr. Radcliffe. Harry intercepted midway over grass. Forgive the delay in ringing. Figured perhaps you'd returned ahead. Light's yours. You acted flawless. I clasped his shoulder short. Grateful you signaled when you did. Unspoken had it come half-hour prior. I'd cling to sun illusions yet. An officer surfaced from within. Tablet poised. Early 40s Latina with keen gaze and poised command. Mr. Radcliffe. Officer Emily Carter here. Site secured. Scene logged. Walk with me. Flag the losses. I trailed her in. Each chamber felt revisited. Kin turned alien by trespass. Parlor pristine. Galley serene. But in the chamber, bureau drawers sagged askew. Mother's bequeathed trinket chest yawned void on the side table. Its satin gut bared like a gash. Sterling tea array from the buffet, I held steady. Valued at $12,000. 4 timepieces from the chamber vault. A Rolex Sea Dweller. A Tag Heuer Carrera. A heirloom Vacheron. $35,000 total. Officer Carter scribed sans glance. The chamber vault forced negative. Dial untouched. I advanced to the den where Harry spied the gleam. My bureau ransacked with crisp method. Heirloom gems roughly $22,000. Sundry papers. What sort I unlatched the panel vault post shelves. It yielded smooth, unaltered code in 14 years. Within, voids scarred absences. Title to my Rocky Mountain tract. 50 acres claimed in 2023. Worth about $1,200,000 now. Spare keys to my vault box. Assorted writs. Her stylus paused. Property titles lifted. Indeed. Mr. Radcliffe. Rear portal bears pro-entry marks. Picked, not bashed. Foes, trade rivals nursing slights. I'm a land broker. I eased the panel shut. Rivals abound. But no vendettas, not till this eve. Anyhow, she displayed the rear latch. The tumbler etched faint scores round the slot. Skilled etchings. Not novice hacks. A pro, or one who'd sourced one. Any clue who'd breached your alert grid. Officer Carter drummed her stylus on the pad. Deactivated clean, not severed or skirted from interior. I halted. Weighed. Must review access trails. List tomorrow. Truth, I'd withhold it a while. The badges lingered near 1:30 a.m. Shots, dustings, waivers to ink. Harry logged his bit and departed round 11. Regrets trailing, which I dismissed. As the cruisers departed, the block slumbered dark. Mute, I perched solo in the den. Screen aglow in gloom. The grid archived all arms, disarms, ins, outs. I summoned March 18th, 7 days prior. Ethan's offhand drop by I'd scarce recalled. 3:12 p.m. Grid off. User Ethan Radcliffe. He'd popped for brew. We'd bantered trivia hoops. That fresh smoke joint on Colfax. 50 minutes of idle warmth. He'd clasped me farewell. Grinned, clasped, and neutered my wards. I stared at that log long, vision smearing as fatigue gripped, tremors unbidden. My reach for the chilled brew shook. The cell thrummed afresh. I'd shunned it hours. 19 missed from Ethan. 14 texts from Sophia. Each raw in plea. Dad, ring back. We must converse. Total mix-up. You're silent. And it terrifies. Dad, I implore. I skimmed clinical, remote. Then pulled Ethan's entry. Thumb poised over his tag, 3 eternal ticks. 19 rings, 14 dispatches. I tapped block. Display queried affirm. Thumb lingered a pulse. I tapped. Then unearthed Lydia Grant's card from the drawer. We'd teamed on a thorny retail seal 5 years past, a fray where keen counsel tipped profit from peril, her slip grant and ASOC. Legacy safeguards and wealth shields. I dialed. Voicemail clicked. Crisp pro spiel. Terse. Lydia. Quentin Radcliffe. We tackled the Cherry Creek Mall in 2021. Urgent chat on estate shields, not drafts. Shields. Reach when free. My timbre held void of fervor. Pure mandate. I placed the cell atop the log's print. First light hours off. The abode loomed vast. Each nook whispering thefts and worse. The thief's kin. Yet no tears, no storm, no shatter. I sat shadowed. Scripting tallies, losses, exposures, fortifications. The shift stirred, nascent. The ring pierced at 10:45. I'd glued to the den. Yesterday's garb clinging. Brew iced since pre-dawn. Fiscal sheets blanketed the slab holdings recaps. Ledger pulls. Coverage deeds. I'd toiled from first glow. Mapping all touchable, snatchable, frail. Lydia Grant's tag blazed. I seized on first peel. Lydia, Quentin, her lilt brisk yet kind. Sensing true press. Heard your note. Shields, not drafts. Spill. Meet this eve 300 my sweet Midtown. There, no fluff, no chatter, just pact of two who prize ticks. The haul to central Denver spanned 18 minutes. I rehearsed laying facts bare sans heat. Specs sans spectacle. Lydia's outfit claimed the 12th floor of a steel spire by the Capitol. Elite digs for elite writs. Her chamber mirrored recall stark forms. Impartial hues. Tomes shelved for show. Uncracked in ages but signaling heft. She rose at my step. Shake solid. Gaze probing. Lay it out. I fanned docs over her board. Grid trails. Badge recap. Loss ledger. Holdings digest. I'd prepped through the wakeful dark. All tiered. Tagged. Linked. 3 weeks passed. My boy sought $200,000. I balked. Last night, he drew me to supper with timed edict. As I sat, intruders breached my home, hauling near $1,100,000 in goods and steaks. Deed to my Rocky Mountain spread included. Lydia eyed the grid. Your boy killed your grid 7 days ere the hit, mid-brew and blather, and the feast pinned your absence fact. Affirmative. She leaned in. Digits laced. No charges on him filed. Not immediate. Why hold? I held her stare. Scope full first. Shield remnants. Then chart reprisal. Lydia inclined slow. Wise. Wrath clouds folly. You beyond wrath transcended. She drew a scribe pad. Inked. Triple fronts now. 1. Your extant testament. Lead heir Ethan. Shifts this instant. 2. Your stakes bare. 3. Those land docs, no keepsakes. With your title and personal scraps, ink samples. IDs he might counterfeit a flip or line that tracked ere you twig. My gut nodded. Spot if he's moved parish clerk logs, flag filings. She tapped keys swift. Which parish the holding Jefferson? Digits danced. Quiet bloomed 30 ticks. Then her mien steeled. One probed your land files net yesterday. Botched login, but thrice tried. The frost in my core honed keen. Who nil? Save your tag and 3 ink variants for entry. She snapped the deck shut. Swift sales now. I pitched triple thrust. Prime ink fresh testament today. Execute morn with attesters. My crew can steward if neutral sought. Sec forge revocable trust to bar claim snares. Turt log all for suit potential. Span fresh ink drafts now. Seals tomorrow. Trust writs linger. 60 hours at least. Rush queue. Full stake quotes needed. Prelims here. Prelims won't shield this. Pro valuers for writ heft on all. Lands, rides, stakes, chattels. She scanned slots. Value her at yours tomorrow eve. Day's toil, all in. Lydia eyed me. Nod near esteem. Most here crave vendetta first. You shield prime, vendetta's heat. I seek equity, that demands draft, then forge your bastion. The ensuing 6 days blurred to regimented drive. Valuer huddles snapping and listing every stake. Lydia drills on trust frames and levy hits. Notary runs for attested inks. Filings to parish clerk. State rolls. Feds. I swapped every pass, every cipher, every ingress. Bank reissued plastics. Steakhouse layered dual checks. Alert firm bolted fresh grid with solo ciphers. Amid, my cell swarmed shunned peels. Ethan's tag barred. Yet proxies rang. Sophia's line. Their fixed wire. Strangers bound kin. Texts stacked on Sophia's chain. Absurd. Adult discourse needed. You're histrionic. Reconsider. You'll rue this. I parsed remote. Logged shots. Archived. Mute. On March 25th, Lydia rang to seal finals filed. Your stakes bunkered in trust Ethan can't pierce. Testament tags my crew steward, all bolted. Mood guarded. I claimed the den perch. Fresh inks in sheaf before. But scant. What walls up? Now fathom the siege. Full grasp of Ethan's scheme. Sounds probe. You seek sleuth fiscal forensics, I know one. She fed tag, digits. But Quentin, tread light. Tug strands, and knots may sour. This sours plenty. But truth's due, post-call. I eyed her card for the sleuth. Then my cell where Sophia's fresh dispatch gleamed. You'll rue. I gripped pen, drew scribe pad, blocked neat. What further plots? The query loomed challenge-like. Defenses raised, remnants shielded. War's foe demanded mapping. The cafe picked neutral ground. Not hearth, not den, no lair snug in central Denver by Finance Row, where none knew or minded corner murmurs. Laura Bennett clocked exact. Satchel slung. Pro threads screaming ex-Fed sleuth clearer than words. Lydia vouched late treasury, now private. Famed for untangling fiscal webs with puzzle keenness. Mr. Radcliffe. Shake crisp. Pro. Gaze appraising sans pity prized trait. I nudged sheaf across. All I hold on my boy's venture webs. Bank scraps from my old pinch roll. Lapsed quarters back. But launch pads. Work past. The cosign please he pushed. She leafed mute. Intake scanner quick. Your boy pressed cosign on venture pull. 5 months gone, you passed. Astute, she surfaced. Your son's fiscal sink runs profound. This pull's frame yells panic. How profound? 300 grand debt stack. Cards and pull tallied. Crush, I held even. Crush to filch your sire worse for lesser done. She shut the sheaf. What prize exactly all? Scheme's breadth. If he's sunk spends pre-hit, who looped in land intent times toll, I hold time. Crave surety. She dipped once. Dispatches via locked mail. Fortnight grant. Prime dispatch hit 4 days on. Thick fiscal stack. Ledger pulls via writ paths. I skipped query on Ethan's signed pulls. The pull sum. $250, 000 at 20% bite. Usury rates legit shops shun. Sec dispatch week in. This packed lease pacts. Elite suite in Denver's innovation strip. $12, 000 monthly for 4 years. Inked March 12th. 12 days pre-strike. Prime, tail. Bond, $36, 000 prompt. Traced pre-hit commits, I queried at our SEC Cafe huddle. Same nook, done. Laura wheeled her deck my way. Suite packed March 12th. Prime plus bond, $36, 000. Pot locked ere he struck you. terms dangled, pot locked, all in on scheme banking your coin to breathe. The Turt dispatch damned deepest. Laura trailed Sophia's trails via sale vault nets. Your son's bride pinged 4 luxury relic brokers past month. Sought quotes on fresh legacy lots. She flashed the roster. Sterling T array. Federal motif. 14 settings. 4 chase timepieces. Exact lines and refs. Gems sketched to mount modes my lifts. To tiniest facet. All probes pre-strike. One broker chatted. Laura nudged card over. Victor Lang. 35 years trade. He sniffed foul when Sophia pressed low paper trails. I rang him that eve from Den. Line set to capture. Colorado's one-side nod state. Usable, Mr. Lang. Quentin Radcliffe. Here my bride pinged on silver. His timbre guarded. Wary. Unsure on client probes. She eyed my home's lifts. Badge log if case tag wanted. Quiet. Then lifts 3 weeks back. The lady pinned the silver motif tight. Shifted helpful. Aligned. Federal 1830s. 14 settings. Queried fast flip sans sale fanfare. Source deceased kin's cash. I pressed provenance proof. No follow. Thanks. Cut. Archived the take. Fresh proof shard. By April 8th, Laura's close dispatch. Full, ruinous. She'd charted the plot whole. Ethan pulls high-stake loan. Ink's sweet craving quick coin. Dawn's sire balks. Plots strike synced with lure feast. Lifts land docs to fake ink on flip forms. Offloads to set buyer. Likely quick flip sort. Vanishes $1,200,000 to venture pot. Clears loan. Fuels grind. Sire twigs strike too late to halt land dump. Your boy aimed to fake your ink on land flip docs. Dump to set buyer. Vanish coin to venture pot. Prime asset shift. Laura's mean stayed pro. Blank. You prove this. I show drive. Chance. Prep. That's suit grade proof. I splayed all that night over slab. Proof sheafs tiered by head. Fiscal crush. Forethought. Plot. Defraud aim. Each sheaf plump with pulls ledgers. Pacts. Caught talks. Sale vault links. He didn't snatch. He schemed. Plotted. Readied backups. Ship all to Lydia Grant. I told Laura on close ring. Hoard your prime safe. We'll draw it. I shut final sheaf. Stacked neat on slab. Cell hummed. Ethan from fresh proxy. I eyed it peel. Tag unknown but his. Desperation's mark in persistence. Mute this time. No bar. Instead set it atop the proof stacks. Let it dance on betrayal's writ proof. Underneath asset shift and deceit. E. Radcliffe. Ring free. When we speak. My rules. The cell stilled. Beyond. Gloaming cloaked Denver. City flares kindled one by one. Steady. Faded. I'd raised walls. Amassed proofs. Now bide Ethan's next thrust. Delay short. 6 days hush. No callbacks. No text nods. No mail yields. Ethan's panic peaked. For Saturday noon his auto crunched my drive. I'd braced for it. I fronted the entry ere his rap. He loomed on stoop. Sophia rear, both drilled in tack. Sophia donned fret mask that might sway sans her caught plea to relic flips. Dad. Ethan's timbre faked forbearance, like humoring a prickly tot. Discourse due. Can't ghost us eternal, not ghosting. Opting disengage, same vein. No, I braced the frame palm. Form sealing ingress. Ghost hints blind dodge. This deliberate opt. Sophia advanced. Palm to Ethan's limb in feigned soothe. Quentin, I beg. Kinship, what you deem occurred. I deem nil. I know. I pinned her straight. Spill on Victor Lang. Her mask blank deliberate. Who relic broker? You pinged him 5 weeks back on Federal Silver Array. Low paper flips for legacy sales. Spark, the blank fractured faint. Ethan's glance slashed her. Probe keen. No clue your drift, but timber tautened. I hold the catch. Chatty post I flagged your eyed lots as home lifts. Ethan's jaw locked. Your snaring talks sans nod. Colorado one-side nod state. Writ legal. Lydia Grant schooled pre-ring to Victor. Lydia Grant Ethan's edge honed. You tapped writ weeks back. Fiscal sleuth. Reworked my testament. Forged trust you pair can't graze. I watched him ingest each drop. Pallor mounting. Your sweet-packed in innovation strip. $12,000 monthly. Inked March 12th. 12 days pre your hit. That's no. We didn't. He braked, reset, borrowed, squared via, faked my ink on land flip docs. His quiet sealed it. Sophia wheeled ploy, advanced palms prayer-laced. Kin, soul kin. Grasp watching you hoard this hoard as we drown all yours. Nil hours. You hold posts. This manse. I wave to Ethan's sedan on drive. You hold picks. Lacking claim on my stakes. We're your spawn. Ethan's crack climbed. Sole issue. What sire severs his blood? The sort whose boy neutered his grid mid-brew and fluff. Whose boy plotted near million land snatch. Who spots treason in writ detail. Sophia's fret shell dissolved full. Yielding chill keen. Press law. Rue it. Will clash. Suit for elder twist. Writ duress on testament. Do. I kept converse lilt. Lydia relishes dumping my fiscal sleuth dispatch to proof. Full plot log. Your sale vault pings. Victor Lang's word. Timeline proving foreplay. Ethan neared step. Wrath ousting crush. You're raising kin over coin. No. You raised it picking snatch over truth. Clasping me adieu, post-grid kill. Sophia beaming crossboard as prowlers stripped mother's gems. We craved. Spare your crave. Words struck harder than aimed. Unsoftened. You picked. Tallied picks. Now bear fruits. Fine. Sophia's flat now. Trade sharp. See what bench deems on elder flipping writ under shade clouds. Mind fitness probes unveil much. Aye, they do. Mine unveils thriving land broker sans mind fade. Flawless recall. Writ spelling why I cut thieving spawn. Ethan's fists balled flank side. Not menace. Just spent fury seeking vent. You'll perish lone. Know it. Sour and lone. Hope this etches. Hope you etch picking stakes over blood. I'll etch you picking snatch over my call. I retreated. Palm to latch. Done. Dad, I beg. Ethan's plea splintered anew. Wheeling to supplicate. Spare, I raised palm. Spare that now. You bared your core. I trusted. I shut the portal. Bolted. Stood hearkening, muffled porch bickering. Ethan and Sophia in hissed barbs. Then steps. Doors. Motor cough. The sedan receding. I crossed to parlor frame. Watched them curve gone. Neighbor strolling hound waved cherry. Likely caught the raised tones. I waved reply. Cell already palmed. Lydia clicked second peel. Quentin. Outcome as forecast. He threatens fitness suit. Foreseeable she untroubled. Let, it'll rebound grand. That's my stake. I peeled from frame. To den where proof sheaf still slabbed. Next thrusts due. Ethan eased this vast. How I lifted fiscal crush sheaf. Flipped Laura's docks. He stormed here wrathful. Crushed. Menace-laced. Bared cornered self. Suit filed. His void claims docketed beside our crime proofs. Weave behavior thread. Spot on. I'll ink rebuttal frame. Papers shuffled her end. And Quentin. You held firm. Kin bounds amid their twist demands grit. They ceased kin at plot dawn. Still, not all steel such poise. Post-cut, I slab-sat in hush abode. Beyond, noon tipped duskward. Proof sheafs fronted. Tiered. Primed. Ethan thrust. Bared palm. Swelled not shrank prime for my weave. The writ dropped Monday morn. My table-perched kitchen. Parsed double for Ethan's true thrust. Plea for mind fitness call and steward tag. He'd filed a suit deeming me mind frail to steer own reins. Claims standard wild fiscal calls. Age mist fade. Prey to twist. I set the writ neat. Rang Lydia. She clicked prompt. Writ hit hour past. Mood droll. I recaptured the plea. Skimmed writ weave. He deems me frail for testament flip and trust forge. That's no wild, standard legacy guard. The plea void. Papers her end. But wait it full. I'll prime rebuttal. Slot today hour out. Fine, Quentin. This rebounds on him vast. I drove her sweet sheaf in palm from week's prep. Fresh land seals. Patron nods. Fiscal pulls. I'd eyed this thrust. Ethan cornered proved rote. Lydia fanned my docs overboard with the plea. Here's thrust. Prime slot you for free mind probe. Dr. Olivia Grant. Rut mind doc. Esteemed cred. Iron rep. Sex stack docs of your grind and fresh wind seals. Turt prime for bench. And quart. She surfaced. Mean edged. Use the bench to ink theft claims on Ethan. Flip his strike to our stage. Spot on. Use it on him I'd pose days back. Now reply firm. The mind probe spanned twin slots early May. Dr. Grant's Nook Clinic blank. Leather seats. Wall crests. Probe gear slabbed neat. Pro, stepwise. Deeming the sift science not verdict. Mr. Radcliffe. Why deem your boy filed this I held gauge? For I cut him from testament post his plot-led lift of my stakes. He seeks court rain grab. She noted sans lift. Coherent. Logic sound. Probes spanned recall. Logic. Call. Fiscal grasp. I met each with trade focus for tangled land pacts. No personal. Pure log. Her dispatch week on. Lydia voiced key slice phoneward. Mr. Radcliffe shows nil mind hitch. Scores top peer for age on all. Displays prime call and logic span. Fitness thrust holds no med base. That seals, overseals. Bench May 20th. There 9 sharp. The hall that Tuesday morn matched recall from decades landings institutional fawn. Tube glow. Writ gears still hum. I clocked half-hour prime in trade kit. Suit, silk, gloss kicks, garb for 7-digit seals, Ethan aisle-crossed with his writ. Young chap I blanked. Likely billing steep for frail case. Sophia absent, astute, her there liability. Ethan shunned my gaze. Judge Evelyn Brooks voiced order. Mid-50s, crisp air. Seen every kin-tangle variant. Ethan's writ led, urging my legacy swings flagged flawed call. Lydia parried crisp, or apt riposte to crime act. Mr. Radcliffe, court the March 18th tale. I rose, claimed stand, voiced plain, factual, sans heat, pure sequence. My boy killed home grid mid-drop, then pinned me at feast as crew lifted steak docks. Kin relics, fiscal scraps, timed sync, badges hold proofs. Judge Brooks eyed Ethan. Crime probe live, yes, ma'am. Ethan's writ wheeled redirect. Unproved claims. Lydia set doctor, Grant's dispatch judge front. Mr. Radcliffe free probed. Nil mind hitch, nil call lax. This thrust baseless. The judge mulled the mind dispatch still. On lift. Mean firmed. Thrust tossed. Mr. Radcliffe competence clear. Session shut. 18 minutes flat. I rose. tugged jacket, trailed Lydia to outer. Ethan and Rit lagged seats, the youth likely scripting flop spin. Smooth as scry, Lydia even, as tallied. I checked time, next slot, the badge, I. Detective Ryan Keller lounged court lot against plain ride. Mid-40s, keen orb, carriage of case vet spotting depths. Mr. Radcliffe. Fresh intel I passed triple sheafs. Fiscal probe, grid catch on son's ingress. Witness nod from bride's relic broker ping on lift lots pre-strike. He cracked prime sheaf, skimmed Laura's dispatch. You tapped private sleuth, fiscal digger, all writ got. Keller paged. Mayan interest to lock. You claim son ran this claim proofs show sync. Foreplay. Defraud aim. Docs full. This flips all. He shut sheaf. We launch grave case. Lift over $30, 000. Second grade in Colorado. Need formal log. Slot when called. Free when due. He eyed near regard. Most marks unprepped. Most marks lack prep span. I did. The crime probe went public writ in 4 days. Colorado dockets open. Any Ethan scan nets it. Lift claims. Sink snatch. Grave probe penned. Week's end. I'd rung triple not to Ethan. To cogs who'd render his crush untenable. Kicked with sweet pact. Robert Klein owned the spire where Ethan inked 4-year bind. We'd sealed twin trade packs past decade. Tie on regard and win inks. I rang him Denward Friday noon. Robert, Quentin Radcliffe. How fares grind eternal? Aid casual flag you'd prize. Sweet tenant. Ethan Radcliffe. Sweet 512 probes grave lift. Open docket. Travis dockets no. Jefferson. Quiet. Then that's blood. Aye. And you flag cause your trade shields. Your call on packed freshens or pay tweaks. Valued. His shift to trade math. I'll dig. The pact held crime clause tainting tenant. Robert unearths. Acts. Not on plea, but stake guard smart trade. Sec ring to Susan Hale at Peak Trust Bank. Not Ethan's pull hand. She'd ne'er spill client. But compliance. Open flag. Miss. Hale. Flag open info on pull bearer in crime web. Case tag via Jefferson Rolls. Pro. Factual. Writ. Bank's auto rig for grave probe pull bearers. Risk flags force scans. Ethan's bite pull already high risk tagged. Add grave probe. Bots handle rest. Turt ring daintier. David Pierce. Tradeland writ who'd fed clients Ethan's way past year. We'd inked pacts. Rep knew each. I met him Brew Central. David. Time prize. Eternal. Mind I nudged sheaf table cross. My boy's grave probe for lift. Fiscal twist. Sink snatch. Rolls open. Figured flag pre-more client feeds. He held sheaf shut initial. Eyed me. Gauged. You're sinking own blood. I'm feeding fact to shield your marks. You're opt. Why me? 'Cause you prize rep and marks trust your feeds. Ethan's grind folds under grave tags. All linked splash. I grant step back pre that. He cracked sheaf. Red prime leaf. Shut. Heads valued. Trade grace. David Pierce quit feeds week in. Word rolls pro nets. Not tattle. Risk guard. Folks shield trades. Reps. Marks. Ethan's venture queries dried. Booked meets scratched. Flow voided. Bank's bot scan tripped April 28th. Exact tick unknown. Needless. Riggs wrote, high risk bearer plus grave probe equals pull hasten clause. Trade norm. Ethan got tag his $250 000 pull called full square in 40 days. Nil for no flow bearer. Debt pile. Fold grind. Robert Klein triggered pact end May 3rd. Grave probe taints spire rep. Tenant grind fail. Pact breach. Ethan, 40 days to clear. I rang not Ethan, no crow, no lay. Just watched tiles tip as forecast. Each fruit from prior natural. Mid-May. Ethan sans sweet. Sans live pull. Sans mark flow. Sans coin route. Sophia quit social scrolls. Their manse listed. Not pick but must mortgage bites real sans inflow. I den sat one eve late May. Timeline review in palm. March, strike, April, rich shield set. May, fitness thrust tossed. Crime probe launched. June, trade frame folded crisp. True, done. Cell peeled. Unknown tag. I clicked. Dad. Ethan's rasp worn. Drained. I beg. Solo talk. You and I held still. Let quiet pull. I'll yours tomorrow morn. Begging, please. I mulled. This the crux I'd shaped months. Ethan stripped leverage. Opts. Grace. Begging soul turn sans other ports. 1100 front stoop. No Sophia. I cut pre his yield. Set cell slab side by proof sheafs that forged this tick. Shard by rich shard. Morn. Ethan stoops my door nil but crush. And I'd primed. Ethan's auto drive crunched exact 1100 Tuesday morn, early July. I stooped front, limbs crossed. Portal shut rear, twin stance our last clash. But all flipped since. He stepped lone. No Sophia, no back, no hold. Hollowed stubble, rumpled shirt. Shade pits screaming lost sleeps. Spike dread. Bank's 40-day tag, 12 days off. July 22nd. $250 000 full due. Nil shot. He neared slow. Stoop steps, each willed toil. I bided. Quiet my prime arms. Dad, his crack faint. Rue, botched grave, crushed, dim. Rue, spare, just aid. Your blood. I let quiet stretch. 5 ticks. 10. Watched him shift. Bide. Twig I eased nil. You my blood. Then turned thief eyeing sire. I grasp, and I. He braked, rallied. I'll yield hold still. Timepieces, gem bits. Square rests and pulls. Just urge suit drop charges. Please. I housed wordless. Ethan's mean hoped to baffle. Returned half-minute with writ I'd prepped 4 days back. I'd eyed this parley. Scan this. He took, skimmed prime leaf. Face hoped to grasp to wrath as sense sank. Open Mia. Yield all legacy. You crave my shame, I crave your own. Own what done. Yield what can. Own you'll ne'er reap my end. Do, and I ease jail push. Your craving I raise rep for your thrill. His climb, cruel, twisty. You're the rift raiser. I'm granting opt, twixt fruits. Milder fruits own. Full fruits balk. 48 hours. He wadded the writ fist, flung stoopward. Won't let you cast me fiend when you're sinking blood over slip, over coin. Core this. You prize stakes over blood. No, you prized stakes over blood. Plotted it, ran it. Now face yield. I'm just passing save from fruits. I loathe you. Flat, fact, hope etched, hope recalled. I'll recall you picked pride over sense. I scooped wadded writ, smoothed legward. 48 post, opt voids. He receded. No bolt, no storm flare. Just receded to auto with crushed bend of all lost yet unowned why. I watched drive fade. Housed, filed wadded writ in den. Proof I'd tendered grace. Proof he'd spurned. Then rang Lydia. Done. Balked. Slot suit huddle. Sure this ne'er surer. Sophia's whisper drive kicked same week. Shared nods rang subtle probes on kin snags. If I overcut Ethan on small rifts, the twist play clear. Quill Quentin cruel elder. Ethan prey to sire spite. Flopped. Crime probe open writ. Net scan nets rolls, lift claims, proof stack. Quentin Radcliffe held 35 years Denver trade rep. Sophia's month-fresh yarn clashed writ facts. Truth won, 3 weeks on. I Foundation writ nook. Lydia there with twin ledgers and charity trust ace. Board blanked docs, land titles, stake shifts, fluid pot slots. This locked, Lydia voiced. Not prime time. Once ink, these stakes foundations. No reclaim. Grasp. All shift. $3 million stake sum. You'll coast on grind coin and fresh yields. But hoard wealth. Gone from private pot. I crave all shift. Lands, stakes, pots, all. Foundation slots grants for youth makers showing spine. Folks forging grinds true. The writ-wheeled final dock table cross. Locked stake shift. Radcliffe maker base. I inked, notary stamped. Sealed. Lydia eyed me. Regard laced query. You've locked blood from legacy eternal. I've locked stakes aid worthies. I rose, gathered copies. Crime thrust stride, bench August. Suits sure, I dipped once. Fine. I quitted Nook. Drove home via Denver's noon blaze. Inked dock shotgun. Base set, grants roll fall. Youth makers with firm frames and spine-proof snag coin for true starts. Ethan nabs nil. Not from pot, not legacy pull, not writ twist he eyes. Base frame iron. I'd forged lasting from our bond's ash. Lasting outspanning us. Aid folk ne'er hearing Ethan or twist. Forge worth where he raised. Next morn I grind returned. Trade land tour for Mark Pot. Packed haggle on shop slot lease. Norm trade ticks, sans vendetta or equity or kin tangle. Life rolls sans heed to rear blaze. The bench wrapped Thursday mid-August. Ethan pled down tags. Suit couldn't nail every grave lift limb, but ample for win on unlawful ingress, and lift over $30,000. Bench unsympathetic. I gallery third row. Lydia flank pro still. Ethan stand front with writ. Shoulders bowed. That crushed bend from stoop clash. Mr. Radcliffe. Judge Brooks's timber weighed deemed call. You ran lift on own sire. Breached his hearth. Wards. Faith. Court spies nil ease for such tallied twist. She tagged him 4 years watch probation. 250 hours kin toil. $75,000 square. No cage. Prime fault. Full own plea. Square packed. But win etched eternal. Watch slip yields cage. Judge added. Weekly writ officer report. Fresh faults. Term fails. Serve hung span. Grasp yes, ma'am. Sophia court absent. She'd split filed July. Served mid-bench prep. Pragmatist play. Shield self from his writ and fiscal drags. Bail pre-full fold. Keen dame. Just keen awry. Trade fruits trailed auto. Ethan's land tag yanked. IT probe certs hung. Trade guilds ousted him. Norm for win in licensed trades. By October, he'd shacked small North Denver flat. Retail grind for life coin while squaring. The manse sold under mortgage bite. Sophia bolted to Phoenix fresh route with likely months met sort. Crime probe sealed. Detective Keller shut file with nod content. Kin lift webs rare end in wins. Base granted prime triple slots late October. Youth makers with firm frames. Spine proof. True crave. Twin dames. One gent. Spans 25 to 30 launching green farm. Learn tech. Health probe. They hit grant right at Lydia's Nook. I clasped palms. Spilled base aim sans Ethan's tag. No need origin yarn. Just slot prime. One grantee. Emily Torres. Probed base spark. I learned spine trumps blood binds. I voiced. Grinds on twist fold. Grinds on spine last. I back ladder. She dipped. Twigged sans full. Life rolled. Land pacts. Mark huddles. Holding tours. I sealed big trade October. Sweet block in Lodo. 8-digit take. Grind eternal. Sans month writ and personal churn. Ethan pinged twice. Once October, dispatch I scratched unread. Once early November, writ reroute from watch office. I hefted sheath. Weighed scan. Opted nay. Instead halved unread. Halved anew. Halved till confetti shards nilman. What Ethan craved rue. Own. Bond plea no need here. Parley span passed. He'd picked. I'd picked. Done. I trashed shred bits. Slab returned where trade holding pitch awaited ink. Frame beyond. Denver's spire gleamed November sun. Chill sweep inbound. Temps dipping 40s. Prime trade day. Cell peeled. Unknown tag, but clicked. Mark rings all ports. Quentin Radcliffe, Mr. Radcliffe. Olivia Lang here. Eyeing trade holding and rail yard zone. Your tag high nod. Pro. Rock steady. Flux free. Referral prized. Spill needs. We bantered 20 ticks. Sweet for swell tech outfit. Square crave. Coin bounds. Slot ticks. I noted. Probed clear. Slotted holding tour dawn. Norm loop. Grind 35 years and roll till opt halt. Post cut. I glanced trash where shred sheath sat. Then base sheaf on side slab. Triple grantees grind strong. Prime quarter logs showed firm build. Thrift fiscal. Ploy swell youth makers rooting. True. Forging real. I pitch returned. Scanned lease binds and price weaves. Life front roll. No dwell on raised rear. No back gaze at must-raised wreck. Beyond Denver, noon rhythmed. Street flow. Crane dot spire. City swell and shift eternal. I inked the pitch. Slotted penned pacts. Next list tick. Grind. Eternal grind. Steady stack of pacts. Ties. Rep the life decades forged. Shielded on threat. Rolled post-threat null. Equity served. Bounds held. Life roll, as due. If this yarn grips, like the vid, channel sub, and spill yarn takes in notes. For next yarn ear, tap left box, watch thanks.